Italian Workshop. Today we seek to understand the current and future impact of innovation on skill sets, professional profiles and recruitment partners in different industries and within the Interreg IPA-CBC program area, so in Italy, Albania and Montenegro. Like in the last Italian live show, we will be doing so by asking both researchers and businessmen. But before leaving the floor to our institutional guests for their greetings, I'd like to remember our panelists that their speeches should be no longer than 10 minutes and that they're kindly asked to wait until the final roundtable when our attendees can make questions using the chat. So we are ready to start with the first part of the Italian workshop. I'll give the floor to Dr. Nicola Delle Donne from Confindustria LECCE, which is the leading partner of the project INERRANT. Nicola, the floor is yours, please.
Buongiorno, comincio io, vero? Comincio io?
Sì, prego.
Grazie. Buongiorno, porgo un saluto cordiale ai partner del progetto INERRANT, alle istituzioni collegate, agli ospiti e agli altri relatori. Non so se devi tradurre o posso andare avanti.
Prego, prego.
Sei detto. Confindustria LECCE, capofila del progetto che ci vede insieme ormai da 2 anni, è lieta di introdurre e aprire questo momento di incontro e confronto. È il nostro obiettivo, infatti, confermare l'importanza della cooperazione internazionale, soprattutto in un momento così delicato dal punto di vista economico e sociale, a causa della pandemia in essere. Lavorare insieme, ragionare tutti all'unisono su sviluppo e crescita formativa sono fattori chiave per anticipare il nostro futuro e garantire crescita e occupazione alle prossime generazioni. L'intento del programma è, come noto, quello di consolidare il tessuto di relazioni presenti fra Puglia, Albania e Montenegro, favorendo un ecosistema in cui l'innovazione sia sempre più protagonista. Confindustria LECCE sta lavorando a supporto della formazione continua a beneficio delle imprese italiane, albanesi e montenegrine, affinché queste possano utilizzare strumenti per la crescita aziendale, intesa come sviluppo delle competenze e del know-how del personale. Oggi parlare di innovazione e di professionalità legate ad essa apre scenari incredibili in tutti i settori produttivi, dall'agroalimentare al digitale, dall'edilizia alla meccanica e all'aerospazio, dall'energia alla moda e ancora alla sanità, dal turismo e dall'economia green. Tutti questi settori possono trovare nell'innovazione una sponda fondamentale per superare problematiche specifiche di processi, di prodotti, servizi, di organizzazione e di ricerca. Quindi ragionare insieme su tali professionalità e sulle competenze che devono possedere in un aspetto, è un aspetto prioritario. Grazie al progetto INERRANT, la Puglia e il Salento sono più vicini ai paesi che si affacciano sul mare Adriatico, con i quali stiamo costruendo le basi di un ecosistema innovativo strettamente connesso con il mondo della ricerca e con quello imprenditoriale. In una logica pubblico-privato. Il dialogo tra territori e la capacità di intercettare insieme strumenti di formazione e ricerca, nonché di finanziamento, rappresentano lo snodo fondamentale per governare il futuro che ci attende. sostenendo la crescita dei giovani e la valorizzazione dei migliori talenti anche mediante interscambi proficui e bionivoci. In questi anni il progetto si è focalizzato sull'analisi del tessuto economico e sociale dei diversi territori e ha facilitato lo scambio di conoscenze ed esperienze fra gli stakeholder regionali e locali dei 3 paesi, puntando anche a moltiplicare azioni pilota, nuove iniziative, prodotti e servizi che potessero supportare gli investimenti nei settori di interesse. La pandemia, pur rendendo la competizione sempre più difficile a livello globale, non ha interrotto questo processo e ha dato un'accelerata ai sistemi di concertazione innovativi. In tale ottica, quanto sperimentato in termini di esperienze di innovazione e best practice deve essere valorizzato per trasformare la battuta d'arresto registrata a livello mondiale in un'occasione di rinascita e come un trampolino di lancio per riprendere a correre una volta che il virus sarà debellato. La cooperazione transfrontaliera tra i nostri paesi gioca un ruolo fondamentale nel sistema globale, con l'obiettivo di ammortizzare le difficoltà del momento e creare le condizioni per la ripartenza. Occorrerà pertanto favorire una collaborazione forte tra il mondo dell'impresa e quello della ricerca, della formazione a tutti i livelli, indirizzando scuola, mondo universitario e ITS verso quelle figure indispensabili ad accompagnare i processi innovativi. Grazie e buon lavoro.
Thank you very much for your speech, and now the floor is to the IPA Joint Secretariat, and in particular to Dr. Mauro Novello and to Dr. Davide Marciano. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and also thank you very much for inviting us. It is a pleasure to be part of this meeting and also to compliment the representatives of the partners, of the lead partner, Associazione Industriale di Lecce, but also of the partners of the project, because you did an excellent job in this project, and we wanted also to say thank you for your effort. This is the Joint Secretariat, but also on behalf of the Managing Authority, Dr. Marino, who could not make it today. We are here just to say a few words about the project and also give you an outlook to the future. So I will give the floor to my colleague, Dr. Marciano, who will say a few words about the future cooperation. The project is very important. Today, more than ever, it is important to work on new skills and on the transformation, the digital transformation. We have seen with the COVID-19 crisis how important it is to be able to communicate and to use technological tools to continue the development of our small, medium enterprises. Therefore, it is your work is very important, is crucial for the future of the SMEs environment. You are part of the first call of our projects and also part of the Priority Access 1, which is working on the improvement of the framework conditions for small, medium enterprises. We invested 7 million in the first call with 7 projects and 11 million euros for the thematic projects. I have to say that I was impressed by the good activities you performed, by the excellent outcomes you achieved with the trainings and promotional activities that you made to really enhance innovation for small medium enterprises, putting together the research, but also the small medium enterprises and the public administration. I think you paved the way to future cooperation, and I really wish you a good work, an excellent cooperation in the future. Please do capitalize and use the outcomes of your project. So thank you very much and have a fruitful meeting today. I'll give the floor.
Scusa, aspetta, ti devo richiamare un attimo, scusami.
Federica di audio.
Okay, thank you very much to Dr. Novello. And now the floor is to Dr. Macciano.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank the organizer of this event and the Italian lead partner, Confindustria LECCE, together with the other project partners for organizing this important and interesting event in the framework of INERRAnT project. The INERRAnT project is one of the best projects of the program in the framework of Axis 1. The Axis dedicated to the support of economy, behavior, and services integration of SMEs in 3 countries involved in the program: Italy, Albania, and Montenegro. The project comes soon at its end, and its main result to develop a cross-border, interregional ecosystem for economic and technological innovation of SMEs in the program territory is going to complete. But now it's time to see to the future, because the new regulations because the European Commission and the European Council, and Parliament come an agreement on the regulation, and so the new regulations will be published soon. In the light of new programming period, the entrepreneurship sector is allocating in a priority axis 1, a smarter Europe by promoting innovative and smart economic transformation. Within this framework, territorial disparities are a stimulus for a cooperation, as opposite strength can create development dynamics. Cross-border cooperation partnership can provide a powerful platform for networking, technologies transfer, and exchange, not only focusing on new technologies, but in a wider pool of topics featuring local expertise. In this scenario, the role of the smart specialization strategies developed by European Union member states and the regions, like the Puglia region, is crucial, and they are an expression of sound innovation policies, and as such are of interest not only to EU member states, but also to non-EU countries willing to improve their innovation. Because this is true for Albania and Montenegro, our non-member countries partner. The current conditions for cross-border innovation are challenging. However, there is a potential to improve the framework condition for innovation by promoting linkages between research institutions and innovative businesses in the cross-border area. Those linkages need to be reinforced through complementary projects dedicated to innovation in the 3 countries in full with cross-border projects. Moreover, pilot projects could be supported at the early preparatory phases of the development of research and innovation strategies for smart specialization in the region. Experiences and exchange of good practice of the smart specialization strategy for Puglia region, notably on the innovation area of health and environment, including green and blue economy, agro-food, tourism, might provide insight for the development of innovation ecosystem in the world cross-border region. According to the cross-border orientation paper by the European Commission, investment could be further promoted for example, the enhancement of links with network and a cluster between area businesses active in various fields, in line with the objective policy in the region. The provision of support to local SMEs, taking into account also the activities under the Enterprise Europe network to face challenges related to their sites, limited resources, for example, skills and finance, or industry and market conditions, including within supply chains and with larger enterprises. The promotion of internship education, taking into account also the activities under the European Institute of Innovation and Technology to develop competencies needed for successful startup and growth of enterprises, particularly those connected to sea cooperation. And finally, establishment of knowledge flows and the links among active centers in the area with association of local entrepreneurs through clustering and networking actions. In this framework, in this scenario, INERRAnT project is a first step to face the new programming period and is a good project, for example, that will be capitalize the result and output in the new program area. So it's a good opportunity for your association, for your SMEs associated to the enterprises organization to face these economic scenarios in the three involved territories. Thank you very much. Have a good job and good job for the event and for the closure of the project.
Thank you very much to both of you, because you know, your words make us feel proud of our job so far and make us even doing better. So let's move to Professor Vittorio Boscia, who's the president of the Dhitech SCON. The floor is yours, Professor.
Thanks a lot. Good morning, everyone. I thank Dr. Delle Donne, representing the project leader Confindustria LECCE, and Mauro Novello and Davide Marciano, representing the joint secretariat of the Interreg IPA CBS program, for their participation in the workshop New Skills and Professional Profiles for the Future, the INERRAnT Ecosystem Experience. This workshop has been organized by Dhitech as part of the INERRAnT project, which aims to create a public-private interregional innovation ecosystem between Italy, Albania, and Montenegro, capable of promoting a dialogue between different territories, enhancing collaborative research actions, supporting the talent mobility, and strengthening the ability to attract private capital. In line with the mission of Dhitech and in line with the topic dealt with during the Italian live show last December, this workshop will focus on the new skills and new professional profiles needed to face the challenges imposed by innovation in the sector of INERRAnT ecosystem actors, bringing the points of view of university, research bodies, and private companies, and looking for a possible meeting between the supply and demand for the new skills and professional profiles. As you know, Dhitech is specialized in the two main areas, information and communication technology and advanced materials for micro, bio, and nanotechnologies, and acts as a knowledge intermediary between the academia and the industry. The collaboration between public and private sector has always been a distinctive element of the initiatives conducted by Dhitech, has become particularly relevant, especially in recent years, characterized by multiple and complex changes, driven by innovation in the fields of specialization of Dhitech. Only through constant dialogue and continuous interaction between the public and the private, at various levels, it is possible to create and make operational distinctive skills and competences, able on the one hand of generating innovation that is actually useful for the progress of a socio-economic system, and on the other hand to transfer and manage the complexity and impact of the changes generated by the innovation itself. We live in a world that is on the brink of great changes. It is certainly an exciting time to live and work, especially in the high-tech sector. Several enabling technologies, such as micro nanotechnologies, artificial intelligence, IoT, cybersecurity, have allowed us to operate in ways that were unthinkable just a few years ago. This trend was observed even before the COVID-19 pandemic, but with the crisis caused by COVID-19, it has undergone a strong acceleration. We are facing an historic moment of reconstruction and reparation of what the crisis has damaged. But we are able all in a phase in which we can rethink the very foundation of our world. How we live, how we work, how we interact, how we evolve. It is increasingly competitive complex. Companies need new professional capable and using technology to improve the efficiency, effectiveness, and competitiveness of their structures. The introduction of innovation also passes through a redefinition at times profound of the corporate business model. Moreover, innovation must be able to generate true value. So, what new skills will be needed to manage the complexity and which ones could soon disappear? What are the sectors, areas most affected? What are the changes in production methods and business models? What are the points of view of university, research bodies, and companies? With this wish and that these questions will find the necessary answer, I officially open the works of the workshop and thank the speakers who will bring the contribution of experience and skills to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Boscia, and let's try to answer to your questions, your interesting questions, by starting to ask to some distinguished panelists from the academia and the world of research. The first who takes the floor is Professor Michelangelo Cecchi from the University of Bari with a speech entitled AI versus DS. So you think you can tell? Please, Professor Cecchi, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you see the slides or?
We do.
Okay. So, first of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to give this speech in the context of this very interesting project, INERRAnT. Well, what I would like to present today is the similarities and differences between two professional profiles, which are artificial intelligence specialists and data scientists. So using the words of a very famous Pink Floyd song, sometimes, I mean, so you think you can tell? Well, sometimes we tend to confuse the two professional profiles. But of course, they have something in common, many things in common. And the main reason is that they come from, they are having in these days a boosting due to the fact that nowadays one of the most valuable sources in business is data. So we have many examples nowadays of very big companies that that have at the center of this business the data. So both profiles, I mean, are motivated by this new trend nowadays. So we have two professional profiles, AI specialist and data scientist. Of course, they have a lot in common, but there are many differences. I will try to explain these aspects in a few minutes. So let's start from the AI specialist. The AI specialists actually program computers to have to mimic the behavior of the human intelligence. So to learn from the experience. automatically learn from the experience. People that work in AI are typically work in two different sub-areas, cognitive simulation and applied AI. In cognitive simulation, the idea is to develop programs, to write programs, write code. And the programs have to simulate these our human cognitive abilities and skills, and the programs have to mimic recognition, learning, understanding, reasoning. Well, this is done, through programs. In applied AI, the idea is to use what is created in cognitive simulation. So the idea is to program expert computers, expert systems, we say, and robots to have this intelligent behavior. And this is done in many sectors: medicine, health, industry, energy, finance. We are a very big plethora of this kind of applications. There are two approaches for AI specialists. One is model-driven, the other is data-driven. So in model-driven, the idea is to use rules to represent the domain of interest. And there are many domains where such kind of rules can be used, in the medical sector, for example. But we also have data-driven AI, where the idea is to start from the data and to apply techniques to, for example, optimize a process, or, for example, predict what will happen in the next future, and so on. This is called sometimes the part of AI that works, because this finds a lot of applications in industry, the data-driven approach. AI covers many topics, from deduction, reasoning, and problem solving to knowledge representation, planning, optimization, machine learning, perception, natural language processing, and also with applications to robotics. But nowadays, the trend is to somehow confuse things. So as I said, machine learning is only one part of artificial intelligence. But due to the boost of deep learning, nowadays many people talk about deep learning, the boost of deep learning, led to confuse deep learning with machine learning, and machine learning with artificial intelligence. But as machine learning is just a small part of artificial intelligence, deep learning is a small part of machine learning. So one thing that is important here is that for the professional profile of AI specialist, it is necessary to have solid basics in programming and data management. So the AI specialists need to have skills in computer science and information technology. And this is one of the main differences with respect to the data scientist. So what is data scientist? Well, the data scientist does data science. Data science is a new scientific field that includes a set of theoretical and methodological principles based on the scientific method and multidisciplinarity techniques. And this word, multidisciplinarity, is very important for the data scientist. And this word was not present before in artificial intelligence. And these techniques are aimed to interpret and extract knowledge from the data. Extract knowledge from the data that is useful, for the business purposes. So this multidisciplinary idea is more evident in this slide, where, as you can see, AI has an intersection with data science, and only in the part of machine learning, but data science needs much many other competencies which are not really proper of computer science, like statistics, like visualization approaches, and other skills. Of course, data science as starting point computer science. In fact, if we see the European ICT profile family tree defined by the European Commission, we see that the data scientist appears here, but I mean, to be a data science, we need to be also data specialist and also data administrator. But the news is that many data scientists are not computer scientists. As you can see here in these statistics, only 34% of people that become data scientists have studied computer science. Other 24% come from disciplines which are very related to computer science, but are not computer science, like math, physics, or other engineering, and so on. And this covers 60% of the data scientists. The remaining 40% come from people that do not have computer science skills at all. Economists, rather than journalists, for example, that they have to interpret, analyze the data, and interpret the data, and extract knowledge from the data. So, AI versus data science. Well, AI, better, data-driven AI, has something to do with data science, of course. In AI, we have the need to understand how an agent, an automatic agent, which can be a program, for example, perceives the environment, reasons about the environment, and takes decisions on the environment. In data science, this is not asked at all. What is asked is to analyze the data and extract knowledge from the data. And when we extract knowledge from the data, as a data scientist, I mean, we do not have to take automatically decisions. The decisions are still taken by the humans. So everything, I mean, is left in the hands of the data scientist. The data science also looks at the entire process of elaboration of the data. Data analysis, visualization, interpretation of the results. On the contrary, AI is mostly interested in the methodological part of the process. So, we understood that there are a lot of similarities, the two professional profiles, but of course they have many common aspects. But the good news is that industry needs both profiles. So when using the words of the famous song of the Pink Floyd, at a certain point it ends the song with "Wish We Were Here." No, so we need both professional profiles, and this is confirmed by many statistics. I just want to mention LinkedIn, that everybody of us knows, and in this report of 2020, of the last year, of actually a few months ago, in the first place among the professional profiles that are most required, there is the AI specialist. And at the third place, ranked as third, we have the data scientist. And not just for today, but also for the future, at least for the short or mid-term future. The other good news is that the university prepares for both. For example, here at the University of Bari, we have at the computer science department We have the master's degree in computer science with curriculum in artificial intelligence, and we also have the master's degree in data science. And they are two separate paths for the students. Okay, I think I have done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Ceci. Your presentation was very interesting, and actually we're going to understand more about data scientists, in particular thanks to the speech, the contribution of Dr. Sara Ventruto from the University of Salento Core Lab, who will talk about data scientists to combine scientific, creative and investigative thinking to extract new knowledge from data. So again, thank you very much, Professor Ceci. But now the floor is to Sara Ventruto.
Good morning. I share with you my presentation. Can you see?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So the agenda of today is the following. We are going to see what is data science, the areas of interest and applications. The data scientist must have skills. What does a data scientist do? The cooperation of data science team, and finally, some examples of data scientists in action. In these last years, most organizations have realized the importance of data-driven in decision-making. And in the recent years, the term data science has grown up also in the Google research. In fact, we can see these two peaks in the last 3-4 years. In particular for the research about data science or big data. But what is data science? The main purpose of data science is to extract new knowledge from data, combining scientific, creative, and investigative thinking. We can individuate a Venn diagram to represent what are the areas that are involved in data science, in particular computer science, math and statistics, and finally domain or business knowledge.
Sorry, Sarah, I must interrupt you. Can you share the full screen presentation, please?
One moment. Now?
No, you should show the full screen.
I see in full screen, but
we don't. Unfortunately, we don't.
Way. Now?
Usually.
No, we still can't see it full. No. Nicola, can you help her?
In this way, click this button.
I think in many applications you should. It depends if you share your application or you share the desktop. If you have the desktop, when you put in everything, it is full screen. If not, you have first to prepare the full screen and then share your application.
Okay. Maybe now?
Let's wait.
Now it's okay.
Okay.
I still can't see, but if you can, for me it's okay.
Well, we need
I don't know.
time, depends the bank.
I'm sorry, but I don't know how.
Do the others panelists and participants see the screen, see Sarah's screen? Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes, we can see everything.
Okay, so
Okay.
you can go on, please.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
It's
Thanks.
late for interrupt you. But,
Sorry for this moment.
worries.
We have data science, and in the first area, computer science, math and statistics, and domain or business knowledge. And in the intersection, we can find machine learning or deep learning, software development, and finally the traditional research. These are the areas of interest and application in which are involved data science. In particular, we can find Industry 4.0, automation, social media, marketing, healthcare, sales, credit and insurance, and finally travel. In each of these areas, we can find particular models or data project to solve a particular problem in business world. For example, we can find product quality control, self-driving cars, or sentiment analysis, and so on. There are a lot of applications. But who is data scientist? Data scientists are the professionals who crack complex data problems with their expertise in scientific disciplines. In particular, we have 4 groups of skills. The first is math and statistics, in which we can find machine learning, statistical modeling, exploration and descriptive analysis, classification and forecast model, time series analysis, and optimization model. In the second group, we can find programming and database, in particular computer science fundamentals, database management system, data visualization, coding in Python or R, and big data paradigms. In the third box, we can find communication and visualization. This box is very important because a data scientist must be communicate with their colleagues or users to present his projects or his results. In particular, storytelling skills, data-driven insight into decision and actions, collaborative with senior management, and knowledge of visualization tool, and finally virtual or visual art design. The last box is domain knowledge and soft skills, and in particular the inclination toward business operations, keen on working with data, problem solver, and a spirit proactive, strategic, innovative, and original, and also cooperative and collaborative, and finally interested in making. What does a data scientist do? What are the principal steps in a data science project? First of all, we have the problem understanding, then data collection, data understanding and cleaning, exploratory data analysis, model planning and building, algorithms and model deployment, sharing, visualization and report, and finally the evaluation of the model and eventually the decision making. But at this point, a clarification is the figure of data scientist has become mythicized. In fact, data scientist is not a data wizard. In particular, he does not have all the answer on the data. He does not work only latest with machine learning or deep learning complex algorithms. And finally, he does not always work with big data, because a data scientist needs quality data, and in some cases, in some real cases, algorithms and model more simply are better algorithms and models complex. And in particular, data scientists have to work with not big data, but more small data set. During the phase of a data science project, data scientist is as flanked and supported by other professional figures with particular competencies. In this slide, we can see an example of a data science team. And in particular, we can find a process owner, a data engineering, a visualization expert, and finally the data scientist itself. This configuration can be modified in order to the diversity of project or the scenario in which the data scientist or the team is involved. In particular, the process owner, in this case, is the project management, manage stakeholder expectation, maintain a vision, and facilitate. The data engineer builds data-driven platform, operationalize algorithms and models, and finally define and execute the data integration. The visualization expert, as expert in storytelling, build dashboard and other data visualization, provides insight through visual means. Disprove or disprove what is provide information and data gathering, data wrangling, and algorithms and machine learning model. Finally, the skill of communication. In this last slide, I want to show 3 examples of data science project in Corelab. In particular, we have the first, that is a data science project in predictive maintenance. In this case, data is a predictive maintenance in order to minimize manual intervention on individual furnace equipment and devices, studying the executions of specific treatment. What is the goal? The goal is to reduce downtime and avoid unnecessary maintenance anomalous trend. The second example is a data science project. In this case, the data scientist strategy is the digitization of the factory behavioral model in order to analyze and control the indirect materials movements, both in terms of consumption and supply. In this case, the goal is the development of virtual representation, so a digital twin, of the process that support the warehouse management, reporting unusual withdrawals, anomalous trend in the materials. These to avoid the production stops. The last case study is a case study about quality control. In this case, the data scientist strategy is the implementation of a monitoring system operating in real time in order to monitor the quality of the outgoing product, allowing a reduction of defective parts thanks to the real-time control of the welding process characterized. In this case, the goal is the evaluation in terms of percentage of defects in the component produced with various levels of quality. Then the localization of the system for malfunction and statistical analysis of daily production. So this was my last slide, and thank you for the attention. And sorry for the previous moment.
No worries. Thank you very much, Sara. Sorry for stopping you while you were presenting, but you know, we wanted to enjoy your presentation as a whole. Okay, let's now go on with the first session of the Italian workshop. It's now up to Professor Giovanni Marcella from the University of Palermo, who will talk about the professional profile of experts in sensor network design. Please, Professor Marcella, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to share quickly my presentation. Let's try with this. It's not this one I want to share with you, but let me check just quickly where is the presentation. Sorry. Too much windows open. Okay, here it is. Let's try to see if you see correctly. Is it okay? Can you see the full screen?
We can see your screen and presentation. Thank you very much. Please.
Okay, thank you. So, okay, I will briefly thank you for, first of all, for inviting me to just give this short talk about expert in sensor network design. This is, okay, we'll briefly talk to you about technological environments, and in particular in electronics and sensors. It's, okay, as you know, what happened in these last years is that there are a lot of new components that are available, and which makes particularly easy for a large component of the community to be able to approach the electronics and the digital devices in an easier way with respect to the past. In particular, I refer to this do-it-by-yourself community, where which is very important because young people, first of all, but not only, have many more possibilities to quickly learn on how to manage and to design digital devices without being really electronic engineering. And just yeah, we can see that also students at not primary school, but immediately after, are quite good, have good skills in also in realizing some little devices where they can control and then realize the devices in which to interact with sensors and with actuator, and it's possible to quite easily prepare tools. I don't know, to make a little machine to work around, to control, to write little programs in order to play with little robots, and so on. In particular, I think that Arduino is one of these examples which made this kind of knowledge quite very diffuse among the young peoples. But after this, also there are other kind of development, which like the Raspberry FPGA system on chips and GPU, which make easier also the approach to manage also sophisticated devices. Also, there are many techniques which are related to data mining, machine learning, and other kind of devices like this, like IoT, big data analytics, and which make really convenient and how to say, make bigger the possibilities for many people to develop new activities. And as we can see, everywhere now sensors are becoming closer. We are full, how to say, plenty of sensors around us, which make our life more comfortable, but also there are possibility also to develop new kind of systems that the fantasy of people can create also new kind of jobs and devices useful for our community. And first of all, another very important thing is that all these devices are quite cheap. With a few dollars, you can build, you can buy from many sites electronics kits where there is this kind of processor on these boards with the sensor and actuators that you can build by yourself and start trying to play with. It's clear that besides this, how to say, these free time activities that people can spend in this kind of approaches, also from the professional point of view, these systems are available, less expensive, and also companies could try to prepare or to have people inside their company with these skills and able to design for them new systems for many kind of applications. Just a few words to explain to you which is a sensor. So a sensor, what is it's essentially a device which provides a usable output in response to specified measure. So you whatever you want to measure, the principle is always the same. So you have analog systems that are through the sensor transform usually in electrical output signals that then can be read and managed by the opportune electronics. So this sensor requires physical quantity and converted to a signal suitable for processing. Okay. So nowadays also these common sensors convert measurement of physical phenomena into electrical signal. But also another aspect is that particularly also a lot of kind of new sensors are now available. So biosensor, which is an analytical device which measures concentration of analytes, and so these give rise to an enormous possibilities of quantity of new quantities to be monitored and not invasive and quite easily to also to bring as an example to wearable sensors, or also, as I remember, also actuators. So not only so the sensors are useful to monitor some environment parameters, which could be more or less related to the health of the people or to the environmental conditions, but then also the possibility to use these particular materials to also execute some commands to some important devices. Also now there are these new techniques in new printing methods which allows to really realize kind of in a cheap way particular sensors, biological types, as an example, as I'm showing here in this quick slide. And that is possible to realize also with the standard inkjet printing way. So just changing the kind of ink that is used. So we can use some particular inks, like as an example, like conductive materials, which can also allow to print circuits on whatever substrate or thin substrate that we want, and so then can be applied in enormous variety of possibilities. So as you can see, so these printing techniques, you can see what it can be done with these printing conductive inks, or also bionics. In printing bionics, it's possible, as you see, on these thin layers where you can really apply all these sensors wherever you want. The opportunities are quite enormous. And to develop skills in this kind of approach, it becomes, I think, a key point for many new technology possibilities. And also, as we think that also what European community is going to do to protect our environment, this kind of sensors that can be distributed wherever can also allow us to develop, as you can see, also food, zoology, biology, also agriculture. And so, as you can see, this combination of sensor actuators allows also to have information to monitor whatever we want. As you can see, there are examples on animals, on larger or smaller animals, plants, leaves. So really the possibility to monitor in detail our environment and also, as you can see, also our health. So also regarding more directly our health, there are new systems that now can use blood, tears, sweat, and saliva, and in order from this point it's possible to get information that in the past were possible only by invasive examines, while in this moment also it's possible to continuously monitor through different kind of sensors. Here you see an example on some glasses where the sensor is put here in this point of the glasses, and on the here on the where the glasses are on the boards, here you have the electronics that can transmit the information, or you have it here in this wearable sensor that you can also tattoo, you can also on your skin, or but if you're not on the skin, for sure on this thin layer that you can wear easily. And also with the integrated information, you also to our mobile phones and whatever camera that we have, really it's possible to monitor and to make this kind of network of sensors with infinite applications. Here you see some example of piezoelectrics and piezo-resistive sensors. That what does mean? This does mean that these change the electric and resistive material that change their electric and resistive properties when they are undergoes under some pressure. And with this, it's possible really to also to create heartbeat sensor to listen to make really how to say, the electrocardiogram and other kinds, this kind of examine just online all the time. So it's no need to go to the doctor to make this kind of examination, or but the number of examples is infinite, and we don't have the time today to go in details. But the idea, and as it was asked to me, it was just to show to you the enormous possibilities that there is in this field, and this is a new kind of skill that could be found, I think, in the next future. It's a kind of profession that is very important for our young people, but not only young people, but also other people that want to change or to approach these new technologies and to develop new skills and the possibilities so to realize unimaginable devices, and that only fantasy of people can decide what to do with this kind of detectors and sensors. Here you see these sensors that are on the skin are piezoelectrics and give signals, and with this you can even transform, or you can also understand what the people is saying. Just with this sensor applied on the throat, you can have a detail of these sounds and to interpret them, or you can also, as you say, by moving the hands, give particular kind of signals that can then act on some devices. And then at the end, to close this short talk, just to tell you also that now are also new quantum sensors are becoming available, like quantum, and also this technology is going to develop quite quickly, also with the quantum machine learning, which is also undergoing, and it will be one of the aspects of the future. But okay, it's a little bit higher technological than not available for everybody, but it's one thing that in the future will play an important role. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Professor Marcella. Your presentation was very interesting, and it proves that reality is more innovative than fiction sometimes. So
Exactly. Easier and cheap and easy to get. That's the important thing.
Thank you, thank you. So let's move quickly to the other speech by Dr. Marco Alvisi from Enea CETMA, who will talk about cross-domain and multidimensional skills and profiles for sustainable knowledge exchange processes. Please, Marco, you can take the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, moderator. Thank you to the organizer for this kind of invitation and this interesting workshop on a very, how do you say, current agenda, current topic in the European agenda. I will try to just make some reflection on the topic coming from my professional experience and my professional background, because I'm not an expert of education skills or profile, but I had some experiences in the past in different contexts and activities. So starting from some premise on European agenda concerning the new professional skills and some definition that will allow me to describe the context in which this transition era is located. I will try to give a contribution to the discussion of this morning, especially in terms of not new degree courses, but of necessary competencies inside the degree courses. And after I'd ask I have a new position in CETMA. I'm leaving Enea, starting a new role in CETMA, and I asked to some of our expert in the design, industrial design, and artificial intelligence, and so on, some suggestion I will give you as some concrete. So first of all, to a couple of words about Enea. Enea is an agency of the Ministry of Development. Now is an agency of NITE, of Minister Cingolani, and is a public organization that operates in the field of environment and new technology to support the institutional and economical community to face the new societal challenges, and in a frame of a transition to a low carbon economy, of course. So we deal a lot with the technology transfer, innovation, and technology to industry, and this was my field in the last 15 years. So and I work for one of the 4 departments, that is sustainability. So I built a little bit of competencies on this topic in concerning the transition to a circular economy and a green economy. This is our organization. Okay, we are in Brindisi, and so the aims of this speech, I put this figure because I didn't know how to figure my professional background. This is maybe the most is the most how do you say near to my professional background because I'm a material science, physics, but I work in lab, in material science lab on sensor coating and so on, and but I work for some of the most relevant organization in this field in Italy, CNR at the beginning, Istituto Nazionale Fisica dei Materiali for 3 years, and in France and in Parco Scientifico e Tecnologico dell'area Ionico-Salentina in Brindisi, and now in Enea, and now in CETMA, and all these organizations, I participate to how do you say, to training for how do you say, vertical and technical skill, but also for transversal skills development, and also in the frame of innovation technology services for small and medium enterprise for the European Commission. I participate to different trainings, and I saw in this year the different trends in the professional profile and in the needs of the small and medium enterprise of these profiles, and also how in this organization where I worked, how this professionality develop to face all the technological, but also the societal and now the environmental problems. So I tentatively in this speech I will try to give a contribution, making a reflection on coming from my experiences. And initially, I would like to give some premises that are important for the consequent contribution and reflections and conclusion. And the first is that in the new European Skills Agenda published last year, what I want to point out is that now we focus on industrial ecosystem, and this agenda focus, of course, on the European Green Deal, but on some priority areas that were affected by this very important, very dramatic crisis. The first is health, construction, automotive and transport, and tourism. And I extract this part of the agenda because I think that especially in construction and tourism, and maybe following by health and at the end of automotive and transport, the new skills and new professional profiles are really urgent. And because many times, especially in construction and in tourism, the innovation of this market segment and of this economic environment are very low, and also the professional involved in them are not very skilled in sense of innovation, of course. And so this is a great necessity to develop the digitalization, for example, of these sectors, and all the things in innovation happens based on the competencies of people, not only technostructures. And another theme that appear in this agenda that I want to point out and to bring to your attention is the Commission will support the acquisition of skills for the green transition. So we are in a twin transition, a green transition and a digital transition. So we have to keep really in mind every time we propose and we think to make something new or something different. So it was very interesting for me to see that in the European agenda for new skills, all this attention was put on these topics and suggestions. So, for example, developing an European competence framework on education for climate change, environmental issue, clean energy transition, and sustainable development is a recommendation that we have to follow when we think to new professional skills. The other the other aspect in the twin transition, of course, is the digital transition. So the European Commission will foster a digital education plan. So this is the topic of today. I'm not an ICT expert, but in all the activity, in all the activity that I managed or I follow, I contribute, the digital aspect, especially in my activity with the small and medium enterprise in the technology transfer, this digitalization issue is a very critical topic, because there is a low competencies, especially as I will told on not only on a vertical scale, but also on transversal scale. And this is why I put the last recommendation that is written in this agenda, that said that beyond the technical skill, we need a transversal skill. So we don't need only to manage robots and algorithms on labor market, to think to STEM skills, STEM competencies, but also on human skills. And I was very glad that the two of the previous speakers, as Professor Ceci and Dottoressa Sara Ventruto, underline some of these aspects when they speak about artificial intelligence. And because this deal not only with professional skills, but of basic competencies that the professional in digital topics and as a data scientist, artificial intelligence scientist or manager should have. I come in. My professional background is. I'm a little bit late if you appear, and my professional background came also from technology transfer, but knowledge exchange. And to boost the knowledge exchange, we have to learn to develop a relation between people first, and the other premise that I want to underline you is that we are in a quintuple helix innovation model. So starting from the three pillars of research, innovation, and industrial economic system, where a research, education, industrial economic system, where research is contained in all the political system, institutional system, we have to consider the fourth helic, that is citizens, media, social capital, but now, fortunately, the natural capital, so the natural environment. So also is in this frame that we have to think to new professional profile. So which is my my little contribution to this discussion, especially in suggesting what an academic degree courses should have in these basic competencies, is came from this fact that the complexity and the velocity of the problems and solution and in today reality, especially in economic sector, but in all this capital or sector that I show you before with this figure, needs a different approach, because in the past this complexity and velocity was a problem of top management. So the top management have many transversal skill and not only vertical skill. But now this complexity of acceleration of problems and so of solution is also at the level of knowledge workers, so of scientists, of lower, medium, and low worker in the hierarchy, in the industrial hierarchy. So when they have to approach any problem, they have to possess a basic skill also if they are specialized. And this basic skill should be cross-domain, multidimensional. Multidimensional means what I show you before, that is in the figure of this 5 helix, and transversal in terms of skill. So these competencies should be recognized, but inserted in the academic degree courses as basic competencies, where people do not have an expert managing of these competencies, but at least they have to be aware of them. So this, for example, this the skill that nowadays to face all the challenges that are contained in the premise are, for example, this kind of skill as critical thinking, to give significant meaning on what you do and why you do, also a little things in your vertical activity. Of course, especially for designer and in general digital workers, creativity and social responsibility, environmental liability is nowadays a necessity. It's not an option, and especially cooperative working, because to face complexity you have to work together. For conclusion, I just ask to my colleagues in CETMA to suggest some new profile, and taking the fourth topics presented from the European agenda, they suggest me this kind of profile that in this sense are vertical profile, or taking from some interviews from the most important manager of the most important new economic actors in the digital and in design world, they give me some of this profile. But what I think is really important, and in all where academic degree courses build this kind of profile, they have to put the transversal skill that I mentioned before. Thank you. Sorry for the late.
Thank you very much, Dr. Avvisi. Again, an interesting presentation and a lot of things to reflect, to think on during our final roundtable. And now it's up to Dr. Serena Andriulo from the University of Salento DSE. She will talk about challenges, careers and skills for the future in financial sector. And she will close the first session of the INERRANT Workshop, where we tried to understand more, to discover the new skills in research and university. So, Serena, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you too. Good morning. I want to speak also for Professoressa Stefanelli, that apologize for not taking part to the event due to concomitant university commitment. And so today I will speak about the challenges, careers and skills in the future and also in financial sector. So I'm going to present some example of mega trends that in these last years are going to influence and impact our way of life and also our way of thinking. Of course, these changes have also a strong impact to economics, and this requires the emerging of new professional profiles and skills for adapting to these evolutions. So I will speak about some emerging careers for responding to these evolutions, and I will explain some transversal professional skills for all the industries, also for the financial sector. I will speak about also of soft skills that are important for completing the digital art skills evolutions, and I will introduce a new tool important for this topic that regards the job and skills platform for mapping these requirements. So let's go on. The first mega trend that I will explain is the shift in terms of global economic power. As we can see in this chart, there's a comparison between the GDP of G7 and E7 countries of 2015 and the estimated GDP of these two groups of countries estimated for the 2015. As we can see, it will be overcoming of the GDP of E7 that is estimated about 140 trillion in GDP. Respect to the GDP of G7 that is estimated about 70 trillion in GDP. The second mega trend is the demographic shift. In this chart, we can see that in 1950, the world population aged 60 years or more was equal to 80%. In 2000, raised up to about 10%, and estimation for the 2050 is equal about to about 20%. So the longevity may affect business model, pension cost, and talent ambition or goals. Even if the longevity has a continuous growth, challenging scenarios are going to define for the young people. In the slide, we can see that the 90% of people with the age between the 10 and 24 live in less developed countries. In addition, more than 70 million of young between the age of 15 and 24 do not work. And finally, about 60 million of children do not have the possibility and the opportunity to study. The third mega trend regards the accelerating of the urbanization. And in this slide, we can see that in the 1950s, less than 30% of the world population lived in a big city. Today, the percentage is increased about 45%, and the estimation for the 2050 of the world urban population is expected to increase from 50% to about 70%. So we can say that we expect that will be an increasing of populated city. In fact, in this chart, an example could be Tokyo with about 35 million of people. The fourth mega trend is related to the raising of the use of technologies. About 35 years ago, the introduction of innovating supercomputer changed the story. In spite the use of these in some restricted areas of use and limited performance of its characteristics. The evolution of the technologies, of the performance of the technological characteristics leads to the widespread use of handheld computing such as laptop, iPhone, smartphone, etc. And with more and more performance and more user-friendly. So the combination of, so the combination of the internet, network-capable mobile devices, data analysis, cloud computing, and machine and deep learning capabilities will continue to transform our world. This led to a growth of the network-connected devices. In fact, in this chart, we can see that respect to the world population these years is increased the connected population and also the connected device per person. The fifth mega trend is related to the climate change that, combined with the scarcity of resources, are going to be a growing economic concern. So the estimation about the 2030 with the population of more than 80 billion people, has outlined the increasing of the demand of three main resources, and these are 50% of more energy, 40% of more water, and finally 35% of more food. Another trend that is going to define and definitely is going to change economic world, business models, market demand, and also the way of move in terms of way of working, private life, people needs, etc., is COVID-19 pandemic crisis with more than 100 million of confirmed cases, including more than 2 million of deaths. all of these variables, all of these trends could be considered variables that influence the economic world and I said before, the market demand and the way to respond, the tools used for responding in a good way to the people needs, to the new people needs. And so in this chart, we can see two rankings that identifies several professional profiles that are going to increase and to emerge, and several jobs that are going to decline in this new context. For example, client information, customer service workers, or postal service clerks, or door-to-door sales are jobs that are going to decline in this new situation. While data analysis scientists, digital marketing strategy specialists, or Internet of Things specialists are, for example, jobs that are going to emerge, to increase in terms of jobs demand. In this 20 job profile that are going to emerge, 10 of these could be considered transversal for all industries and also for production sector, and these are data analysis scientists, artificial intelligence and machine learning specialists, digital marketing and strategy specialists, process automation specialists, business development professionals, digital transformation specialists, information security analysis, Internet of Things specialists, robotics engineers, and finally, fintech engineers. According to the enhancing of the art skills, for creating new professional figures, important for each individual to enhance their own soft skills. And for 2025 are identified top 10 top soft skills that could be considered and enforced for completing the evolution of professional profiles that are grouped in four main groups. And these are problem solving, for example, complex problem solving, critical thinking and analysis, creativity or original initiative, reasoning, problem solving, analytical thinking, innovation. The second one is self-management in terms of resilience, stress tolerance and flexibility, active learning and learning strategies. The third one is working with people, that means to enhance leadership and social influence. And finally, technology use and development in terms of technology use, monitoring and control, technology design and programming. In this new context of changing of personal professional profiles, it's important and useful to develop platform for mapping digital skills and existing and required professional skills. An example of these important tools could be the European Digital Skills and Job Platform that is defined as the home of digital skill information from across Europe and the heart of the digital skills and job community. Also, INERRANT, in its small way, is contributing to this topic by participating in the development of a skill monitoring platform that could be interesting to show in other future occasions. In our opinion, technological skills could be considered as a fertile ground for defining new and innovative guidelines of development and growth according to the PNRR perspective that could be considered as a compass for a new interesting growth path. So thanks all, and I'm finished.
Thank you very much, Serena, for your speech. And as we have collected the inputs from our panelists from the world of research, and they were very valuable, and we do hope to discuss them in depth during the roundtable. We're ready to collect the inputs the views on the new skills required by industry by asking directly to the companies that take part in the INERRANT ecosystem. So let's open the second session on new skills required by industry with the first two speakers from Altea Spine Smart Work. The first one to take the floor is Dr. Marco Magaraja, who will talk about job opportunities, research, and lack of new digital skills. And Dr. Gergi Robo from Smart Work will follow. Thank you very much, Marco. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Federica. Nice to join you. Thank you for all the organizer and partner of this program, of this project. My short presentation. I will share this presentation with my colleague Gergi, living in Tirana. And
I can't hear Marco.
Sorry?
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Here you go. Okay.
Okay.
So please, Marco.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Federica. I will share this presentation with my colleague Gergi, which is of Smart Work in Tirana. And so thank you again to all the organizer and partner of this Interreg INERRANT project. Now, I briefly introduce you with Altea Federation. Altea is a small company in 1993, which was created on the north part of Lake Maggiore, which means north of Milano, just close to Switzerland border. We was born in a small town, as a small consulting firm. What happened? What happened that we started with a very interesting journey toward innovation, which brought us to the most important vendors of software and hardware, and brought us to modify Altea in a group as a federation in 2013. Now, what is today Altea Federation? Altea is a company, a group, which collaborates with world leaders in technological innovation and solution with a particular model. We are about 1,500 people. We name it A people, that are the employee of Altea. 70 companies, 3 fastest growing projects, which means our 3 company we will join, which will join Altea Federation soon, and 10 offices from around Italy and 1 in Albania in Tirana. This is the Holonic system, which we call virtual Holonic system of Altea Federation, which means an organization with autonomous companies, but with distinctive competence and skill. Adaptive, we name it adaptive business model, which is able to collect all these experience and the specific competence of each company in order to create value for our customer. One of these company is Smart Work, which is located in Albania. And Gergi, if you are online, please may you introduce Smart Work?
Yes. Hello, everybody, and thank you for having me here in this really nice initiative. Okay, Marco, I will need your support with the following slides. Smart Work, as Marco mentioned, is a company which is based in Tirana. We are a company that was founded in 2017, and we work as a nearshore factory for different clients in Italy, but also in Germany and in England. Although the market here in Albania is not so much sophisticated regarding the IT services, due to the fact that we serve international clients and due to the fact that we work with different projects, we are actually facing a lot of challenges in terms of finding new resources with a certain skill. And okay, let's make an introduction of the context that we are working on. As I mentioned before, although we live and work in Albania, we are facing the same issue that the European community is facing. And as the panelists before mentioned, we live in a privileged time where technology not only can assist us, but can also makes our life easier and also can make us rethink on the way we live our daily lives. And you know, this is something that it's not in the future, but is in the near future, because the technology that we are already exposed and accustomed to can pave us the way for you know, rethink and potentially change our lives and even more. In the business context, we are now facing different changes. For example, we now have a new era when we can think about the intelligent enterprise, for example. This is the intelligent enterprise is a strategy for enabling the transformation, the digitalization of the enterprises through data insights, through automation, and through the distributed intelligent models. We are facing new changes due to hyper-automation. Let's mention here robotic process automation, artificial intelligence, and all the new technologies that we are using as of right now. And through cloud computing, now we have switched to a new paradigm of how we think of the IT investments, when we can think of IT as a commodity, as and not only as a huge investment in the beginning. We can use the amount of software and the amount of hardware that we actually need. And of course, everything now is multi-experience, which means that we can use different tools, we can use different technology through different devices, and we can access to information on the go. So, according to Robert Half, the 12 job profiles that are most looked at or will be most looked at in the future are, for example, mobile application developers, data architects, DevOps engineer, especially is a trend that is going through right now, because with all the complexity that we have with different systems, we need people that can manage this complexity and can help companies, you know, be flexible with the investments in IT. And of course, we do need a compliance manager to understand how the data that we are collecting will be used. We need business intelligence analysts to understand the data that we have, how can be transformed into insight for the enterprises so that we can build a better strategy for the future. And UX designers is also, Marco, can you go back? Because I was just going around through the profiles. And as I mentioned, UX designers is also profiles that is very looked right now, because through complexity, you need to expose those data in a certain way that they are understandable for everybody, and every tools that is built right now needs to be understandable. Of course, marketing analytics manager, in order to understand the data that is collected and to build a strategy for marketing. And we can go to system analyst, business analyst, e-discovery analyst, for example, is something that it's similar to the compliance manager, but it's more reflected in the low environment. And you know, this digital economy is transforming the way people and we work and the skills that we need at work. And this is a huge challenge for enterprises and workers, but also public authorities, because as you mentioned before, we need to understand how we can comply with the use of the data. According to a final report of the European Commission, digital technologies are actually used in all kinds of jobs now, are transversal to every industry, and even sectors that were not traditionally related to digitalization, such as farming, healthcare, vocational training, and construction. Now, every industry needs to implement some sort of technology in order to run better their business. Marco?
Marco, the audio, please. Sorry, Marco, we can't hear you.
Marco, are you there? Because we can't see you and hear you too.
Hello?
Okay, we can hear you. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So, as I told you, digital technology are widely used in workplace in European Union. Of course, the use of ICT increased in the last 5 years in more than 90% of workplace. But what happened? That almost 40% of workplace report that the lack of digital skill has an impact, a negative impact on their performance. And 15% of workplace reports employees lack digital skills. So this is the main reason for why we are looking for new skill and competence regarding ICT and digital skills, but we have we are really facing a lack of competence of a profile. And 80%, more than 80% of workplaces are not taking any action to tackle the lack of digital skill of their employees, which is quite a poor data. Recommendation coming from European Union raise awareness on digital technology, of course, promote access to digital technologies, promote more and more the training to employers, providing even access to funding for digital technology and reduce the digital divide. Why we are now so poor of digital skill? Because what we are facing in Italy, for example, LECCE, but all the ICT company has the same problem, is that company, they have vacancy for employees with IT skills, as you see. So it's quite strange that many of these companies declare that they use external personnel for management of ICT activity, and 60% of the largest company are today organizing training courses in order to scale and to growing up with competence regarding to ICT skills. So there is an increasing interest and attention to this type of training. Nowadays, the lack exists because there exists a gap between the scholarship training program and the needs coming from business tech. So, in particularly, what we're looking for today in Italy are digital job skills like that booming, Microsoft, webmasters, life array, as well application job skill, operation consultant, UX, web application, cloud computing engineer, and business technology platform specialist. So we are currently looking for this kind of competence, but it's quite difficult to find out. I think the same problem now you have, Georgie, in Albany.
Yes, Marco. As I mentioned before, at least in Smart Work, we are a company which works mostly with international clients. So the challenges that we are facing and the technologies that we are using are actually the technology and challenges of the whole European Union. And the actual state of the ICT environment here in Albania is nascent, and it actually needs support to develop. But there are really positive trends. Albania has potential in human capital with a high interest in the ICT careers and a lot of innovative entrepreneurship. And we have also a lot of entrepreneurs coming from Italy here in Albania to invest and to open small offices with 10, 15 people. But we do lack in trainings and we do lack in skills. Our universities are not ready to face the needs of the market and are not ready to face the needs of the students in terms of skills and technology and ICT capabilities. And this is due to the fact that as every acceleration in ICT, this is really fast. So the university can't keep up with the demand that the market here in Albania has for ICT skills. And we need, I think, more initiatives like this in order to understand better the environment here in Albania, in order to attract investments in terms of trainings and skills building, but also in order to attract new investors due to the fact that there's a potential human capital here.
Okay, so thank you very much, and Francesca is on your floor. Thank you very much for your attention.
It's Asta, thank you, especially for the comparison between the situation in Italy and in Albania. Thank you very much. We're now ready to move to the second speakers of this session, the second session of the Italian workshop. I mean, the engineer Danilo Martino from LECCE, who will talk about knowledge manager and innovation enabler in modern context and systems within the industry 4.0. So Martino, the floor is yours.
Grazie Federica. Good morning everybody. I share my screen. Do you see it?
Yeah, we can.
I try to. That's okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for your invitation. We are happy to offer you, to give you our contribution in INERRAnT Workshop. Just a couple of minutes to present myself and LECCE. I'm Danilo Martino, team and technical leader, business and application consultant at Unit Research and Development in LECCE. My competencies come out from activities such as business process management, business application consultant, technical leader and solution architect. In all activities deals with specific fields such as knowledge management and implementation of robotic process automation, PA, logics, process modeling, implementation and execution of development activities and their assessment. LECCE was born as a spin-off of University of Salento in the middle of 2010. And the aim of our firm is is to provide solutions and services on innovative processes and technologies of engineering knowledge through research and industrial activities. We are in different cities of Italy, and we have an offshore office in Albania. I'm in Lecce, in the operative office at Dhitech presso campus Ecotecnico in Lecce. In this figure, I'm in the top right of this figure. This is our internal organization of ECA. ECA Profile is featured in order to provide company solutions for system integrator, consulting, application management, continuously supported by the contribution of the research and development. ECA supports customers in different phases, which will include system integrator activities, software selection and others, consulting activities on issues such as business process analysis, business process management and product lifecycle management, and so on and so forth, application management activities, application maintenance, code management near and offshore, as well as research and development in project cycle management, scientific and industrial research. This is the last slide of presentation of ECA. In this slide, we can find some of the most important customers in Italy, but also in all over the world, essentially in the north of Italy. So we can start with my presentation about INERRAnT Workshop and about knowledge worker. Knowledge worker that in this period is an important figure, important rules for our field, for Industry 4.0. The today industrial panorama is characterized by the rapid shift through the so-called Industry 4.0, also defined as an increase of manufacturing environments, digitization, automation, and communication enabled by creation of a digital value chain. This is a true digital transformation. This digital transformation is reshaping the jobs profile. This digital transformation is reshaping the job profiles together with the way to perform industrial operations. AI and robotics are automating systems faster than ever before, but in turn the need for soft skill development is emerging. Specifically, the digital era worker should possess qualities such as emotional intelligence and pragmatic thinking. It is clear that in the Industry 4.0 is introducing rapid and epochal changes and challenges. Technology is advancing, but the leadership development needs to be aligned, and this is the most important thing of this topic. In addition, information and the new technologies are characterized by an increasingly shorter life cycle, pushing individuals as well as organizations to constantly improve their competencies and to advance their knowledge and skills. All this leads to a situation where knowledge worker has risen to a significant role in modern societies. Knowledge work is considered a critical asset for our organizations, for all organizations, being a core and crucial factor for the business survival and success. In the new industrial era, in fact, organizations focus less on tangible resources such as machines while investing on workers and knowledge-based assets. In this slide, we can see the impact of these new jobs in Industry 4.0 and a general landscape. The paradigm of the industry 4.0 is increasing an urgent need to understand which is the impact that the technology is having on the workforce. The paradigm, in fact, cannot be merely considered as a destructive technological revolution, but it can be better defined as a social technical revolution, meaning that the shift has a relevant impact on both human and technological resources. Our companies are now facing challenges needing to align their human capital competencies in order to maximize the return of investment. Also, government and educational institutions are actively involved in the transition, in these transitions, trying to predict the future employment arena and reshaping their offer almost every year. The job landscape is rapidly changing, indeed, removing obsolete working features with new ones are emerging at a global level. But what is the knowledge? Who is the knowledge worker? Who is the most important aspects of knowledge worker? Traditional assets of a competitive advantage such as economy of scale of quality are not enough to ensure the success of the company. In the knowledge-driven economy, skilled workers are the only sustainable competitive advantage. In this context, the future of the knowledge worker is emerging and becoming very relevant as the key success factor within any organization. The literature provides a different definition of the knowledge worker, but in order to define this actor, it is possible to refer to Peter Drucker, that coined the term in 1969, described the knowledge worker as we can say in this slide, someone who adds value in the workspace by processing existing information to create new information which can be used to define and solve problems in our field. Moreover, it is possible to define the knowledge worker through the following three features, as you can find in this slide: working in occupation, usually covering the rules of manager, professional or associate professional, but having a high-level skill certified by a university degree or equivalent qualifications, performing complex communication-based tasks that requires expert thinking and the support of ICT. This is the most important slides because in these slides we can find the most important essential attributes that knowledge worker may have to absolve our his rules. The different perspective through which a knowledge worker is defined in order to better identify this actor, it is possible to refer to some essential attributes. Knowledge worker, as we can find in this slide, the knowledge worker not only possesses the required theoretical knowledge, he is able to balance it with the factual knowledge. A great skill, the second one, is a great skill that is possible to recognize in a knowledge worker, is the ability to find and access information. The knowledge worker knows which sources provide the information they need and how to use the sources. The third, a knowledge worker jobs is a non-repetitive nature, and so the ability to understand and reuse the acquired information in different situations becomes a relevant requirement. Another important skill, the other one, that every knowledge worker should have consists in the ability to share both factual and theoretical information, as you can find in the first bullet point, but with a clear communication, both in spoken and written word communication with all components of these new teams, technical team. Knowledge worker must be driven by motivation. This is an important aspect. He needs to maintain a desire to apply their talents towards incorporating new information and new technologies into their work. Finally, the most important feature that represents the key for competitive advantage of knowledge work is the ownership of intellectual capabilities, specifically for the understanding, recall, processing, and application of specialized information. But what is the rule of knowledge working in the organization, in our organization, work through Industry 4.0? Knowledge work is became a strategic asset for the new economy success, as their rule have grown and adapted over the last decade. Globally, there are more than 1 billion knowledge workers in the world. They are essential actors within the global economy, and their role become more relevant as pandemic COVID-19 forced the global shift to remote work, to smart working. But what is the difference between the traditional worker and the new worker, knowledge worker, old knowledge worker? Someone describes the knowledge worker as an employee far from the traditional command and control supervision and the hierarchical system. The knowledge worker behaves differently respect to the traditional worker and needs a different management approach and organization structure. Specifically, the knowledge manager has a learning-oriented approach respect to the traditional one that is action-oriented. The knowledge manager is far from the traditional occupational, focused on supervising and controlling and delegating. His objective is to reach the operational excellence by focusing on organizational learning. In this slide, we can find the rules, the most important rules of knowledge work in the organization. Generally, it is possible to state that individuals performing knowledge work, so-called knowledge workers, are primarily occupied with the non-routine problem solving. More in details, we can find these 10 main typologies. Controller, as you can see in the right of the slide. Controller at the top, controller, people who monitor the organizational performance based on raw information. Helper, the second one, people who transfers information to teach others once they face the problem. Learner, people use information and practices to improve personal skill and competencies. Linker is the other one, in which people associate and mesh up information from different sources to generate new information. Networker and organized. As regards networker, people who create personal or project-related connections with people involved. Organizer, people who are involved in personal or organizational planning of activities, such as to-do list or scheduling, technical working. Retriever, people who search and collect the information on a given topic. Sharer, people who disseminate information in a community. Solver, people who find or provide a way to deal with the problem. And the last tracker, people who monitor and react on personal and organization actions that may became a problem. As regards the technical activities in R&D unit in ECA project, as regards knowledge worker, we can find the three most important projects, as you can see in this slide, Industry 4.0, Future Internet for Industry 4.0. The second one is an Italian project called SCREAM. And the last one, explainable process and workflow design automation with artificial intelligence. In all these three projects, R&D project, we can study how knowledge worker could work in our new organization in Industry 4.0 organization. This with this thematic, this important thematic, as you can find in the bottom of the slide, knowledge improvement, knowledge management, or knowledge discovery and definition. So this new figure could work with the knowledge based as a support on operational technical work. That's okay. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Danilo. Thank you for your presentation. And now we are ready to listen to Dr. Rosaria Lovecchio from engineering. She is the last speaker of this second session, and she will talk about T-shaped professionals, the future adaptive innovators. So you can take the floor, Rosaria, up to you.
Thank you, Federica. Good morning, everyone. Do you see my full screen?
Yes, we do.
Yes, perfect. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Dhitech, for the invitation. I'm Rosaria Lovecchio, researcher at Ingegneria Informatica, and I'm today here to talk about the specific skills required to face the challenges in the IT service sector by sharing my experience in the engineering company. Engineering is currently the first IT group in Italy among the top 10 IT groups in Europe, with around 12,000 employees and over 65 branch offices in Europe, North America, and Latin America. The group is composed of more than 18 companies and 11 cross-business units and competence centers. Engineering helps our clients achieve their goals, co-design innovative solutions, and leveraging the opportunities of a continuous technology evolution. We help them to transform their business based on the new core values and digital ecosystem. What engineering does is to support the digital transformation of public and private organizations in several sectors, by designing, developing, and managing innovative solutions for various business segments, including smart energy and utilities, smart governments, e-health, augmented city, digital industry, and so on. In particular, engineering plays a leading role in research, thanks to its central unit of research and development, organized across 6 development laboratories specialized for different research areas. It spends about 40 million euros in annual investment in R&D, with a team around 450 researchers, and by participating currently in over 90 national and international research projects. As research represents the first and the most important phase of the innovation process, through it and with the contribution of several and very solid international partners, we are able to explore innovative methodologies and emerging technologies that will be tomorrow's solutions. In engineering, research and innovation means collaborate with the most important scientific realities, national and international projects, and the first-level industrial players in order to keep update about emerging technology trends, explore emerging business trends, to be always ready to welcome and face new challenges in different areas, and play a strategic role in the global innovation network with industrial, scientific, and academic excellences. In our vision, innovate means create value, a concrete, a tangible value. In fact, our end goal is to create real benefits for all stakeholders and our customers involved in the process. I'm a part of Open Public Service Innovation Laboratory of Engineering. Our lab deals with the idea of providing innovative services and digital tools to public administrations and citizens in order to create smart community environments. The vision is to drive research efforts by gathering the real needs of the territory through the bottom-up approach, offering technological and design expertise, and to provide an integrated framework composed by technologies, methodologies, and skills supporting DPA towards digital transformation. As demonstrated by data on digital transformation efforts of public governments, technology alone cannot solve the challenge of improving citizen satisfaction about a service. It's not just about applying technology to process, but transforming the process, something radically, through the use of the technology in order to improve and streamline processes and make them more sustainable. In order to meet the new challenges of digital transformation, it is necessary to build and exploit all the framework conditions that allows us to activate the innovation process in the best possible way. And according to our approach, this means not monitoring trends and emerging technology, but also building a diversified network of partners and having a productive and qualified team of innovators. About network, we have created an ecosystem of different players, public bodies, research entities, universities, companies, citizens, each with their own ability to make a contributions, visions, specializations, and goal of achieving a concrete results in the short and medium term. By viewing the same problem from a different point of view and approaching it in an alternative way, there may be more solutions than we could have imagined. For these reasons, the collaboration between engineering, in particular OBSI Lab, Dhitech, and University of Salento began long ago. Engineering is one of the private partners who has been part of Dhitech district since its creations. For this reason, OBSI Lab is located just inside Dhitech headquarters. And engineering, Dhitech, University of Salento have been collaborating for years in several projects for innovation and development of the social, economic, and the production system at the regional and national level. This is an all-around collaboration. In fact, it concerns research, innovation, and training projects in different areas, such as internet-based service, collective intelligence, smart community, energy, but not only these. It regards also the involvement in education and training courses through company case history or work placements, PhD programs, undergraduates, and also in experimentation phase of our projects with pilots, use cases, and living labs. About the qualified team, in order to achieve this new frontier of knowledge named digital transformation, 3 players are necessary who act in an open ecosystem. An expert in traditional technologies and services, application and infrastructures, able to select and integrate the components necessary to guarantee reliability, safety, and stability. A data scientist with skills in new enabling technologies, capable of guiding and governing the rapid evolution linked to the continuous innovation of these technologies and the opportunities that these allow, and an expert in business processes able to correctly interpret the impact produced by the new enabling technologies and to manage the redesign. These 3 elements are the key ingredients needed to guide digital transformation and must coexist at every step of the way. But in today's work environment, to have specific expertise which you apply in a specific setting, it's not enough. Successful digital transformation requires to combine specialization and deep expertise with broad general knowledge and skills, such as flexibility, empathy, communication ability, emotional intelligence, problem solving, critical thinking. This combination of personal capabilities allow for rapid formation of high-performance team working in open innovation environments to build smarter service systems. The most sought-after workers must have a deep knowledge of their discipline, but also possess a strong understanding of the system as a whole, including people, technology, and sharing information. The desired profile is T-shaped professional, referring to a worker having a combination of both general skills across multiple domains and specialist skills within one or more domain. Today, Today, in information technology sector, T-shaped employees are in great demand because of an increasing convergence of technologies, development, and socio-economic challenges. Precisely during of social, economic, and technological challenges such as the pandemic, the presence of T-shaped expertise within our lab, in this image there are my colleagues, made it possible to deal with the COVID emergency in a proactive way, continue to be a strong team even at a distance, and achieving all company goals. That's all. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much, Rosario. Thank you for your presentation, which was valuable as all the others of today's Italian workshop. We have concluded also the second session of the workshop, so we are ready to open the round table, so the final session. First of all, let's check whether there are questions from the attendees, because we would like to make this workshop more interactive. So please, all the participants that are connected are kindly asked to make their questions. It's your time. Are there any questions from the audience? Nicola, can you see, or does anybody?
No, I can't see any question.
Okay, so let me open the round table with one question, my first question, which is actually the question by Professor Bosch, which hasn't been answered at all. We long talked about the new skills to face the challenges of innovation, but what about the ones that are going to disappear? Which ones are going to disappear or be less necessary than in the past? Who wants to answer? Maybe Professor Ceci or...
Yes, Federica. I can bring my view on this.
Okay.
As a professor of computer science, what I see is that it's true that computer science is people with competencies generally in computer science are highly demanded today. New specialized skills are more highly demanded. So this means that from my experience, I see that the students are able to find their job very quickly, even when they finish the bachelor studies. But for master studies, they are taken from the industry even before the graduation. So this means that there is a very high demand of specialized competencies in computer science. I mentioned AI specialists, I mentioned data scientists, And I think that these are kind of specializations that are required by the market now.
Does anybody want to add her or his view on the same question? Because I think it can be very interesting, especially for the ones, the panelists from the academia, who can help the new students to choose the right, the best, the most profitable, let's say, path, academic path, in order to start working.
Promising path.
Yes, promising path. Do you want to add something more? Okay, let's move to my second question.
Federica.
Sì, okay. Marco, up to you.
Yeah. One problem, one main problem. I often discuss this matter with different friends, professor of university, of different university. Which is the problem? The problem is that young people, the young students, up to now, they prefer to learn and to study not technological course. They do prefer marketing, or law, other kind of matter, of competence, but just a few are addressed to technical and digital competence skill. And this is one of the main problems, particularly the female. I mean, if you find out more male involved in digital skill, is getting now increasing the number of female that are addressing to this matter, but not enough for the demand of the market. So
that was my second question, the gender gap.
The gender gap. I spoke with a kind of friend of mine of Sant'Anna, University of Sant'Anna of Pisa, and he told me, well, we never solved this problem until that gender gap will be, solved, because we have so many female addressed to technical skill, and that's a problem today. But I think this is a problem starting from the, from the
high schools, from the high schools.
From the high school, yeah. This is the problem. And so probably everybody has to push a little bit on the high school in order to represent, what is going on today on the market, as above all for the future, which is we today we saw very interesting data concerning the next 5-10 years on digital skill. Why people doesn't know this matter? Why they doesn't know this data? Why family doesn't know this data? This is one main problem. People will find a job in the future.
It's quite weird because, I recently read a paper from the World Economic Forum, which said exactly the opposite, and that women will take advantage from the digital revolution. But as you said, there is a great gap, also a gender gap also in the skills sets between men and women that can reflect the industry gender gap. So women and the female workforce in the fourth industry revolution.
Yeah, exactly. So we will see what is going on and what is happening in the next future. But this kind of digital skill are more and more required. So People has to know that. And institution, university, high school has to promote this term. Otherwise, we will be always lack of competence. Respect to our competitor. I mean, when I speak a competitor, I speak about China, about Germany, about our country that has an enormous number of students in this specific field of study, you know, and so this is the lack that we have actually in Italy.
Maybe it would be useful to start dealing with digital skills, digital competencies, even at the primary school. So when the kids are approaching the school. And what about the female speakers, today's female speakers, Rosaria or Serena? What's your opinion on this second matter? I mean, the gender gap.
In my opinion, the gender gap exists. It's important, but it's important to improve digital skills in the technological environments through women. Because, for example, I work in the laboratory, and in the research laboratory, and there are only 3 women in my team. But my figure, for example, I'm economist, I'm not engineering. My figure is important because I don't have specific digital skills, but in the years I upgrade my digital knowledge through courses, through PhD programs, to masters, and in this way I speak the same language of respect of men engineering. And it's important to stay at the same level and to understand that the woman point of view is important in the process of innovation, because we have another point of view of knowledge, of process, and it's important to balance the innovation process.
I do agree with you because, you know, I am an economist too and work together with engineers. So I made your path. And so I do understand your opinion, and you are talking about the transversal skills that, for example, Marco Alvisi talked about during his presentation. So what about you, Serena?
I have an experience that I want to say. My personal experience was that the gender gap exists, and in past work experience, my profile was a little bit declined because was pregnant, and yes, and now I am a mom, and I have the opportunity to restart my path thanks to other women that I believe in me. And so I think that it's important to involve female professional figures in terms of digital skills, but not only in this way and in this context, because I think that women have more in terms of multitasking
skill.
Yes, yes. And I hope that private companies, I hope that will improve in this sense, because I hope that will be same level in all sense.
Okay, thank you very much, Serena. I don't know whether the other panelists want to add more, but there is another question. The organizers are writing me that maybe Clara is about to make a question to our panelists. Okay. We are waiting for Clara's question.
I see the question and answer. I will read it for Clara.
Okay.
The question is, I have two questions for all. Are the companies ready to receive and value these new skills? And how the traditional business models are changing to absorb these skills? So the first one is about the companies that are ready to receive and value these new skills and how the models are changing to absorb them.
Well, I think that the representatives from the companies of the INERRANT ecosystem can answer both questions first, and then of course the other panelists from the academia. Who wants to start? Maybe Marco or Gergi?
Yes.
Milo?
Yeah. Federica?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, of course, we are ready to meet you and to welcome this kind of digital, of this kind of people and of competence. As I told you before, we are currently looking for this kind of profile, of digital profile, but with really serious problem to find out. What I want to point out is that today the business models are changing. We more and more are speaking about exponential organization. What does it mean? It means that today we have to face or to meet a new business model which join and meet emerging technologies. So if a business model will change, is changing or will change in the organization, of course, this means that organizations are more ready to welcome this kind of digital skill and to utilize, to better understand how they can take advantage about this digital skill. So business model has to change for any kind of organization, public or private. So if we do not change this kind of business model, probably company will have some problem in the next 3-4 years. So as soon any company, any organization will be able to face and to move in a new business model, as soon probably they get more competition, respect the market. So for sure, this is what is happening today in Italy, but I think Gergi is the same for you in Albany.
Yes, Marco. And actually, I wanted to address the first question of the gender gap first, and then move back to the second question. And I have good news for you, because here in Tirana, Actually, we do have a gender gap, but it's on the other side. We are 140 people, and 70% of our employees are female, actually. And also around 80% of our top managers are female. And I think this is because we need to understand that when we talk about ICT now, we do not talk only about coding. I mean, I'm an engineer myself. I studied in Politecnico di Milano and I graduated like 15 years ago. And I remember in my course, we were around 60 people and only 3 girls. So you can imagine, of course, doing college with only 3 girls. But I think because there's a misconception. There's a misconception due to the fact that ICT is only coding. I mean, that is true, but with the evolving technology and with the evolving formats of building up new applications, we are now seeing that everything is switching to a low-based code. Low-based means that you have your part of codes and you just integrate them with each other. And that's one thing that's going on. Also, we do need to understand that, as I mentioned, ICT is not only coding, but ICT is now transversal to the whole business processes. And for example, we talk a lot about artificial intelligence, right? And of course, you need to build artificial intelligence through machine learning, through deep learning, and everything that. But the main purpose of artificial intelligence is to bring out data in order for managers to make a decision. So we do need the human part in this process. And people that never studied coding or never studied engineering are actually the target of this building up of the ICT tools and of all this digitalization. So people that have skills, economical skills or strategy or marketing skills, actually will use these kind of tools. And believe me, you cannot make engineers make decision or make, for example, UI, UX interfaces because they are square, right? So in the ICT environment, I think that this gender will slowly go away and will balance because it is not only about coding now. It is also about everything that revolves around ICT. We have business intelligence, we have business analysts, we have process analysts, DevOps, and stuff like that. So we need to think in a positive way that, yes, there is a gender gap, but in my opinion, it will dissolve because there's no other way that it will be else. And also, I think that as we're speaking about the academic, in my personal opinion, as I've seen these trends that are emerging for technology, I mean, you will need, of course, a bachelor degree and a master's degree, but especially if you work in the ICT environment, you will need updates. In my opinion, the
lifelong learning.
Exactly, just like doctors, you know, you need to do workshops, you need to understand new technologies and stuff like that. And also companies, enterprises have to adapt to this model because it's not like that you have students with a bachelor degree in informatics and that's it, you are all set for the next 15 years. No, you need to invest in continuous learning, continuous training, continuous improvement of skills, and also continuous change. Because as we mentioned before, I mean, in our job as a company, as a system integrator, we have seen many times, for example, that you go to a company and you implement a new system, and now you have to decide what to do with the people that worked with the legacy system, right? And the legacy system may be like an IBM AS400, which is a mainframe system, and people that have worked there have a certain particular skills. But you need to change those skills, right? You need to adapt your model. And of course, you need also, in our case, to consult our clients how to adapt these people on what to do next. So I think that's the main focus that companies should have: continuous learning, continuous improvement, and
flexibility, as you said.
Flexibility, exactly.
So thank you very much. And any other questions from the participants? Because I can't see any message in the chat. I'm asking the organizers whether there are questions from the attendees. I can't see any questions, so I think that we are about to close the round table. Nicola.
Yes, I can't see any other question.
Okay, so if you agree, we can close this final session of today's workshop. Just give me a sign.
Yes, we can close. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much to our guests and to our panelists, because they provided us with valuable inputs, as I said before. I do hope that all the attendees enjoyed the workshop. And let me thank also the organizers, the Dhitech SCAN, which is a partner of the project INERRANT, and in particular Nicola and Tiziana. So thank you very much, and hopefully to see you again.
Thank you, Federica. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. Bye, you all.
Thank you to all the participants.
Thank you. Thank you to all.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Ok, possiamo interrompere la registrazione, immagino. Grazie mille a tutti.